District 6, Chris.
Thanks, sir. I just want to be brief because I know you guys have a busy agenda. I just wanted to say, first off, thank you to all the members of the planning group understanding that you have an election today. Thank you for all of you for serving. For those who are coming off, our chairman, thank you so much for your service. And for the new folks that are going to be coming on, thank you again for taking the time out to be a part of this community and serve on behalf of the public. For those coming off, don't go too far. We still need you to serve on other boards and commissions throughout the city. We have hundreds of them. I know Alan Young with my office comes by here all the time asking for folks who want to serve. For those in the crowd as well too, if you are interested in serving, you took time out of your night tonight, wait for your families to be part of this process. If there's an interest area that intrigues you and you want to serve on a board or commission in the city of San Diego, I implore you to contact our office or any office on the city council. We're always looking for good people to serve these various roles, and we love to have you. We'd love to work with you to try to find something that you're dedicated toward, something that interests you to serve. I did have just one small announcement, and you may have heard it a couple weeks ago. Celebrate Read Across America Day. We're at the North Claremont Library, where we presented a check for $15,000 in total on behalf of the city. $11,000 of that will go toward Claremont libraries for various programs that go on in those libraries. And the Library Foundation, when they heard about our working to make sure this money was allocated to those libraries, also donated a matching grant of $15,000. That's $30,000 total is going to various libraries within District 6. $11,000, which so $22,000, which will be going to libraries in North Claremont. So a great program all around, working with the Library Foundation to make sure that we have all the great programs going in our libraries. So with that, I just want to say thank you again for all of you for serving, participating. Thank you all for taking time out of your night to be here tonight. So thank you very much. Thank you. Appreciate it.
And Ernie Navarro with District 2 indicated he had to go to the Mission Beach Community Planning Group meeting this evening, so we won't have a District 2 report, I don't think, unless someone else is here. No? Okay. And then lastly, I just want to relay a note, an email I got from Anthony George. He's the mayor's representative for this area, and he wanted me to talk about three things briefly. The mayor's launched his new webpage, www.sandiego.gov/mayor, and this is his attempt to really kind of move forward the quality of the webpage and the website for the city. So he invites you to visit that website, look up information. He's hoping to have improvements in the coming future for that. March 11th, if you haven't already heard, you're probably living in a cave. If you haven't, the Stadium Advisory Group has decided to recommend the new football stadium in Mission Valley, and that group is moving forward with additional recommendations on how to pay for it and so on. So just, I'm sure you're going to hear a lot about that in the news. And then lastly, the mayor announced his plans to fix 1,000 miles of streets over the next 5 years. The mayor will jumpstart his goal by doubling the street repair efforts by fixing 300 miles of streets in the coming fiscal year. The mayor proposed 20 reforms to the city's infrastructure program that will ensure projects are completed more quickly and efficiently. Once implemented, projects like street repair will be delivered 20% faster on average. The reforms will focus on technology to increase program efficiency, reduce bureaucracy, and provide a better financial oversight and cash management. Okay, and so I think with that, we're going to go on to our informational items. This is first item 201, Marina Boulevard Specific Plan and EIR Status Update. Michael Prinz with the City of San Diego and Brooke Peterson with PlaceWorks are here to make a brief presentation. And I would just like to let the public know that this is a presentation on the current status of the plan, okay, and it's the activities and the preparation of the plan, and as well as getting ideas on how to best involve the CCPG planning group and others in the community as to the public outreach process. So please There is no plan right now. I don't want to regurgitate all the stuff that went forward several months back. Okay, let's stay focused on the outreach and understanding where they are in the process. Okay, please, I'm going to, after their presentation, I'm going to limit everyone again to comments to 1 minute. If you're repeating the same thing that someone else said, please save us a little time and just say, I agree with what that person said. Okay, so with that, Michael Prinz.
Thanks, Jeff.
Here, do you want to try this? It's cutting out on me.
Good evening, everyone. Michael Prinz with the Planning Department, City of San Diego. So we're just here to provide a brief status update on the planning group, as Jeff said, and then also try and determine sort of what the appropriate level of feedback we would like to get from the planning group and then also from the community at large. So as many of you know, we prepared a planning study last year which looked at land use and mobility network associated with the planned trolley extension that is associated with the Mid-Coast Trolley Corridor. We had looked at increasing densities around those trolley stations, and originally we looked at changing the height limit regulations within Claremont Mesa and Linda Vista. Since that time, we got feedback from the community. I think this is probably, I'm just gonna, if you can't hear me, I'll just try and yell louder. So, all right, well, if this cuts out, then I'll try and yell. So what we did is we took recommendations. Sorry, I'm just going to have to try and yell. There's a camera here. I can provide updates to those who can't hear me after the meeting as well. So through that process, we received recommendations from the community's feedback, from the planning group as well as our management. And we came forward with recommendations to reevaluate the land use densities that were recommended in the proposed study, maintain the Claremont Mesa height limit overlay zone as is, and to look at parking options specifically on Morena Boulevard as part of the proposal. So all of those will be carried forward as we prepare a specific plan through this process. Now, we received grant funding from SANDAG to prepare this effort, and we have until roughly the middle of 2017 to complete this process. So our goal is to prepare a specific plan, do so with significant community outreach and engagement, prepare the environmental document, the environmental impact report, to analyze the recommendations from that specific plan, and then go through the public approvals process, which includes going to both the Claremont Mesa and Linda Vista community planning groups, the council committees, planning commission, and ultimately city council. We've hired and retained Placeworks, and who will be managed by Brooke Peterson through the process to help us in preparing the specific plan and preparing the environmental impact report, as well as conducting the community outreach. And I'll let Brooke say a few words.
Thank you. So as Michael said, I'm Brooke Peterson. I'm from Placeworks. We're a planning and design and environmental analysis firm. And we've been retained by the city to assist the community and the city in preparing, as he said, a specific plan, which will include a new land use plan, an environmental analysis, and additional technical analysis, and as well to facilitate a dialogue with all of you to help us prepare the best plan and to carry forward what you guys consider the model community and model plan. Just to highlight kind of some changes that we are trying to build into the outreach program so that hopefully this can be a constructive process. We recognize and we're very committed to maintaining kind of an open dialogue. We want to make sure that the input is iterative, that we're having continuous feedback loops, hearing from you, and using that to inform the plan that we put forward. So just kind of to start, we'll be coming out and just having a booth at some of the upcoming events, whether it's Claremont Day at the Bay or Taste of Morena, and trying to come out to the community to have conversations with all of you. We will have a project website that'll have all of the kind of project information, project background, announcements, dates of upcoming events. But on top of that, beyond just kind of that static information that'll be on that website, we're also going to have an online forum by which we'll have a way to kind of have an open dialogue by which we can ask you guys for input. We'll put forward ideas, we'll put forward information, we'll put forward plans and concepts and thoughts, and it'll be a way to have a kind of a constant conversation with all of you. So those are just a few things that we are committed to doing. We're committed to an open process. This is not intended to be a plan where we have already identified what we want to do. This is going to be a conversation, and that's how we'll be coming up with the plan. Thank you.
So just to recap on timeline, our goal again is to begin this outreach process over the next few months. We hope to have the website going live at the beginning of April. We will provide this to both the planning group and the entire email distribution list that we have. So everyone will be notified the location of the website and where you can provide your input. We will have these outreach meetings over the coming months, and we will begin developing the plan and the alternatives later on this year, with the environmental analysis occurring mostly in 2016, with the goal of going through the hearing process in late 2016, early 2017. And so with that, we really want to turn it over back to the group and see how does the planning group want to be involved. So normally through a community plan update process, there is either a subcommittee, a committee of the whole, or ad hoc committees that are formed by the group. Sometimes they're just regular updates that are provided to the planning group at a monthly meeting. And so we really want to hear from you in terms of how you want us to be made available and when you want to hear from us through this process. Obviously, when there's any actual formal proposal being presented, any new information, we will be at the planning group meeting on a monthly basis, regardless of what the structure is, to provide that information. Everything will be posted on the website. Everything will be distributed to the community through our email distribution list as well. And so with that, I turn it over to you.
Okay, let's, I'll kind of open it up to the board first for any kind of ideas or what they have in mind for that.
Well, I had a question, Michael. You had mentioned the Claremont and the Linda Vista planning groups being involved. Billy had mentioned that the Pacific Beach planning group wanted to be involved in this also. Would it make sense to bring them into the loop?
We're not proposing any, we're not proposing any changes to land use or the mobility network within the Pacific Beach Community Planning Area. There's a separate effort that'll occur later this year, next year, for a grant to look at the Balboa Station area. That one will involve the PV Community Planning Group, but this effort, we can provide them an informational update, but the decisions rest with Claremont and Linda Vista. So we can invite them to our process, but we would be hesitant to go to them for a recommendation on land use outside of their jurisdiction.
Great. Thank you.
Michael, anything from you?
No, I don't.
Questions now?
I would say that we should be very involved in this all along the way, because I think that we're going to have a lot of questions asked of us, and our participation is going to be expected.
Yeah, I guess my thoughts would be an ad hoc committee. I think we probably, per the bylaws, the majority of those members need to be members of the CCPG, but we would absolutely want a representative group from the community involved. So not to get it too big, but I think that we should establish that ad hoc committee, probably out of the next board. The next chair can deal with that, push it off on that. And then that way we can invite a minority of other members from the community to be involved. I think we'll have to work out how to decide who's on and who's off. I don't think I want to get too much from one particular group, to dominate, get a kind of diversity of opinion and thought on it. So we can maybe work with staff and PlaceWorks and maybe have fashion the makeup of that group again.
Is your thought that there would be an ad hoc group for Linda Vista and an ad hoc group for Claremont, or they would be meeting together? I would gather they would be separate.
The thought is they would be separate because there's separate meeting times and the needs of the Linda Vista community and what their level of commitment is from the planning group members would be different. If both groups want to form one committee, we would certainly be open to that, but we're not going to require it. We can attend multiple meetings.
And I think just as to, obviously these ad hoc committee meetings would have to be open to the public due to Brown Act, so I think that we'd have to meet on a more, either it's a milestone, like in advance. I don't think we can get a committee like that together weekly or bi-weekly, but I think that as kind of an advisory body to the CCPG, my thought, and I don't want to dominate this, but just my thoughts would be that that group would really kind of identify some milestone times where we really have something to chew on, or whether,
That's correct. Just to reiterate, any committee formed by the planning group has to follow the provisions of the council policy and the Brown Act. So all meetings would be publicly noticed and have to be accessible to the public, same as the community planning group. With that, it's again up to the group to decide, the composition of the ad hoc subcommittee, so long as the majority of the committee members are from the planning group. As long as you're doing that, then you're consistent with the council policy provision. And with that, again, it's typically, you could do it monthly or bi-monthly, and then if there's a special event that occurs, there's also could be an information item at the planning group, such as tonight, for major milestones as well. But again, we don't want to dictate the process for engagement. It's really a matter of hearing from the community and from the planning group as when is best and how and the format as well.
Well, I just want to hear some comment on the rest of the board. I don't want to.
My understanding is that ad hoc committees do not need to be publicly noticed.
They do need to be publicly noticed. Ad hoc committees don't necessarily need to be publicly noticed for other types of committees outside of the planning group process, but the bylaws specifically state that if it's associated with the planning group, it does need to be publicly noticed.
Okay, and
Well, I see some challenges. All you people want to be involved, and we have a limited amount of time to use this space. So we're going to have to either coordinate with this very generous school and see if we can get this space, or we have to find another space that will accommodate all of us.
I think just in terms of the size of the committee, again, we have to have a majority of the CCPG as members, but we want to have a good, good group of community members as well. So you may have to be up to about maybe 11 people or so. I don't think that's too unwieldy on that. I mean, it could even be more.
Well, Jeff, if it's open to the public, there'd be the committee, but there's also interested parties.
Oh, I understand that. I'm just saying that, yes, but I think that committee has to take the lion's share of the workload and make the recommendation to the full CCPG. I mean, that's my thought. It has to start at a committee level. So they do the work and then bring things forward.
I like your train of thought. I think you're right, though. The next chairperson, the next president would take that on.
Okay, so then I think, is that sufficient direction for you tonight? I think we would be forming that, and we can maybe work with you on the numbers. And I would invite, maybe we'll have a follow-up next month, actually, April, and just see if we can put a little bit more definition into it, and maybe get some of the representatives from Raise Our Balloon to maybe offer up some, some representatives and some other groups. Just get the email out, try to do it grassroots.
The website in April, correct?
Yes, the abstract, the website is anticipated to go live at the beginning of April. So and we'll provide an email announcement concurrent with that when it's available. So,
Jeff, isn't there a limit to how many people can be on a subcommittee or something like that?
Well, there's, we talked about, I don't think there's a limit. I just think
No, of us. Isn't there a
no, there's not a limit. We just need a majority of the
Point of order,
members.
yes, there is, you
Yes.
cannot have more than 50% of the board.
Right.
Okay.
on the committee.
that's correct.
Yeah.
Well, how do we get a majority? I'm not missing.
No. Majority of non-member. You have to have a majority of planning group members on the board.
Right.
So if you have 5 planning group members, you can't have 6 non-members.
Right.
You can
Yeah.
have
That's what I was
3
saying.
non-members.
But I'm saying at most we could only have, 8 people on that committee. So 8 from the board, and then whoever the other members are from the community.
Yes. Or we can add fewer members. Right. Okay. We'll iron out the numbers. Right. Make sure we're consistent with bylaws and guidelines. Okay. Well, let's.
Because we've talked about so much now, is your next event that would concern everybody here the website? Is that like the next thing that we can all anticipate that?
Yeah, the website would be the first sort of step in the next level of the engagement process. And then we would likely look at, what do you think, the Taste of Morena as probably being, we'll set up something with them. We have to work with the Morena Boulevard Business Association in coordinating that, identifying a location. All of this, again, will be posted on the website in terms of where we would look to generate input and feedback from that. But it would be, again, we'll look at a couple of events over the next couple of months to again, start to really roll out the project with the community.
And I'll just add, along with that, at the beginning of April, the online forum where we're going to start the online conversation, that will be launching then as well. So we'll kind of be launching the online as well as the face-to-face in person in April.
Okay, any other comments before I turn it over to the public? No? Okay, so let's see. Let's start on this side, work that way. How about that? And please, I'm gonna ask you at least initially your comments for 1 minute. Okay, if there's a follow-up question, okay, but it'll just go on forever if I have 60 hands out there. So hang on, was there someone back here in the blue shirt? No? Okay. Okay. Yes, back in the ball cap there.
Yeah. I think it'd be good if Mike came to every one of the meetings that comes up and presents where they're at, what's going on with the planning, because the last time was a farce, and this time we want to be totally clear, and even if thoughts that the planning group may have be brought out in the open at each planning group meeting from now on.
So I will be in every single meeting associated with this until my supervisor tells me to do something else. So Brooke will be in a number of the meetings as well, but I will be at every meeting, so I can assure you that.
All right, thank you. Moving on. Yes, sir, right here in front.
One thing, make sure you hit the Linda Vista Multicultural Fair.
Okay.
That's actually on our list, yes.
My question, earlier you mentioned a commitment to the constraints for heights in Claremont, but you didn't mention Linda Vista. Are you as committed to Linda Vista's community plan, which has a 30-foot height limitation as you are Claremont?
We are looking at height limits in Linda Vista. We have not made a commitment in Linda Vista as to what the height limit would be. So currently there's a 45-foot height limit, as you know, as part of the industrial CPAWS area. We would be evaluating that, but we don't have a commitment one way or the other on that particular area. But the Claremont height limit will stand as part of the specific plan, regardless of what develops through that process.
Isn't the Claremont height limit 30 feet?
Ma'am? Yes, it is. Okay. I'd like you to get acknowledgement first in case I'm out of there. But go ahead.
No, I just said, isn't the Claremont height limit just not at 30 feet?
The current height limit is 30 feet in the Claremont Mesa height limit overlay zone. That's correct.
I don't know if I would have to go up.
Oh, come on now. Come on. Where's all the hands? Let's go. Yes, yes, sir. Right there.
Hi. I really like the sound of this, and you'll have a lot of audience participation. And my question is will we be able to engage you in the green area ratios and the position of the trolley stops and things like that, or how much of this is already set in stone and how much will we be able to participate in?
So as it relates to green area ratios and public open space, that is required as part of development or parks provisions, that falls within the city's purview, and that could be considered and would be considered and evaluated as part of the process. So we welcome all those comments. As it relates to the location and position of the trolley stations themselves, that's under the purview of SANDAG and MTS. To my knowledge, those are set and they have finalized their environmental documents. So that is outside of our purview. You can provide us comments, we can direct them to SANDAG, but they're the decision maker on that, and those are set to my knowledge.
My wife wants me to ask a question for her because she's shocked. She said, how are you going to put the email list together to notify us of the things that are going on?
So I've already received a number of emails from the previous study, as well as just a number. So I mean, I probably have 200 emails. Anybody who has not given me their email before can come come up to me after the meeting. We'll also have a location on the website in which you can either email me or add yourself to the distribution list. So for those who aren't already on it, you'll be able to add yourselves at any time throughout the process.
Yes, ma'am, would you read the first one up? Yeah, right there. Thank you.
Did you send out emails to this meeting? I never got an email from you for this meeting.
No, this one was only sent, this was just an agendized item for the planning group. Again, until we formally launched this, we were not sending out emails through that distribution list. We wanted to wait until we notified the Claremont and Linda Vista planning groups.
So in April, we will all start getting emails from you?
That's correct.
When the website goes live, everyone will know.
Ma'am, you can get on our Facebook or our Twitter for this group, and it lists the agenda about a couple days before the meeting, so you can see what's happening.
In addition, his email address is on the Claremont Planning Group website. Just Google Claremont Planning Group, and right there, his email address 2 or 3 times linked, so you can give him your email address that way.
Okay, did I see their hand over here? Yes, ma'am.
Hi, I'm concerned about the parking off that you're looking at for Marina. I saw the original plan, I'm glad to hear that the very good restrictions in place. But the amount of parking is pretty excessive, and Marina was squeezed down into 1 lanes and parts of it are I remember years ago. But the parking, people backing up, it's going to be parallel parking, it's going to be, I'm concerned about the speed of Marina and the people pulling out parking spaces, and I want to make sure that that's part of the environmental impact study that is addressed. And if parking is going to be reserved for the homes and not available for the public, because parking that could continue to become a significant problem. I like how Marina is growing and adding restaurants and stuff, but it's making it more difficult for those of us who live down there to not that as part of the high-density housing that you're planning on putting in, even in the lower stuff. So parking is a concern that I want to make sure is addressed.
Yes, parking will be addressed as part of this.
Yes, ma'am.
Good evening. Have you presented this plan to the Linda Vista planning group as of yet?
Yes, we were at the meeting last month to provide an update. We presented the study at previous meetings in the past. And, so yes, we presented them with an update.
Was that an information item update?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, yes, ma'am, and I'll get you next.
No, I'll
Sorry.
stand until you do. Okay, thanks.
All right, go ahead and stand up.
Stand this time.
You defer to her, so she's already standing. Thank you very much. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, getting back to the email thing, would it be possible, because I'm thinking it might make a little more sense to have like a central location, rather than relying on you to go, oh wow, I do have Bob's email and not Mary's. Maybe Mary will find out. Can Mary contact a website where we can have full disclosure whether you are a person on the list or an interested party from not on the list? Say, for instance, I want to just access all this information without giving you my email address, and I don't do Facebook or Twitter, but I want to go to the internet and find the newest information out there, rather than wait for a notification to come. Is there going to be a central location?
Yes, there will be a central location on the City of San Diego's website for all the information. You don't have to give me your email address in order to receive it. So the email address will just be a summary of what will be posted onto the website. Many of the documents are going to be fairly large, so we wouldn't email them anyway. So, but yeah, we will provide that on the website. No emails necessary.
Okay, yes, ma'am, in front. Very patient.
I live in Pacific Beach, and I'm concerned about everything that's going on in Marina Boulevard. I grew up here, and I'm concerned about the gondola station. And you were kind of saying, oh, well, let's just put PB off to the side for a while. So when do you plan on getting Pacific Beach residents or town council involved?
That's a good question. We have a grant, and we're trying to work through with the granting agency, the Department of Conservation at the state, in terms of finalizing that grant agreement so that we can begin work on that. The short answer is later this year, probably in the fall, in terms of when we would kick off that process. I will be providing an update to the PD planning group next week on that effort. And once I have more information on the timeline for that, we can present that to them and to the Claremont Planning Group as well. But again, I don't anticipate that we will be getting that process until at least September or October, and it's probably going to be after that just because of the timelines that the state and the city have for kicking off these things.
Okay, yes, in whatever color that is, that teal, whatever it is. There you go, you know.
Yeah, I live in Bay Park too, and Marina Boulevard, I'm with that lady about the parking down there, you know. I've noticed a lot of different communities around San Diego, you know, have gone to the diagonal parking on their revamps and the towns and stuff like that. I don't know if they've made any decision on that yet or what, you know, as far as the parking goes, but I noticed in the last couple of meetings I've been to of this, a big concern was the one lane going south on Marina Boulevard. I think that'd be one of the biggest mistakes ever, to make a 2-into-1 like they did that Claremont Drive thing. Was a nightmare, total nightmare. It was wrong. I don't know who did that, but it was wrong, you know. And if they do that on Marina, I think it's going to cause a lot of problems. That's just my opinion. I just want to put it out there because I think a lot of other people think the same way. So that's all I got.
I think just remember, we're getting a little bit down the weeds in terms of what the plan's going to say, so if we can kind of keep it focused on the outreach and the status. I appreciate the comments, but, you know, let's try to keep it moving. So, yes, sir, in the back, raise your hand, raise your.
I'm George Corser, and I'm finding it presumptuous that the City of San Diego's Planning Department would be lecturing us concerning Sandag's association with the trolley. Sandag is in severe trouble right now with the Supreme Court cases that are actually going under. There are very few things that they've won in litigation. Sandag may not have a budget coming up. There's $212 billion of Transnet taxes that are in play. You may not have a trolley. Please don't expect us to take your information as truth. We don't accept that. Thank you.
Any more comments? I don't see any hands coming up. There you go. Yes, sir, right there. Thank you.
I'm just recently involved with this area. I'm mostly up in North County. Usually there is a small group of big developers which push through these specific plans. Could you tell me the genealogy of this one? Who is pushing this? Who created this plan? Thank you.
This is the City of San Diego initiated the grant proposals, first to Caltrans and then to Sandag, to evaluate the land use and mobility network adjacent to the planned trolley stations. So this was an effort that was initiated by the planning department in concert with other departments within the City of San Diego. There was no private entity that encouraged us to apply for these grants.
Really?
Any others? Hands up. Don't be shy. Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry, good. I'll get you next. Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
Well, are you going to go into specifics with what you're planning to do on the Marina Boulevard area? I heard a lot of things, and it sounds like you could do anything from tearing everything down and rebuilding it to, should be just left alone like it is, but I'd like to know what you're really planning on doing.
At this point, again, for Marina Boulevard, the previous proposal had identified 2 lanes going northbound, 1 lane going southbound, with an additional buffered bike lanes in both directions, as well as parallel parking on the street. There were land use density increases proposed just adjacent to both the Claremont and the Tecolote trolley stations. All of the recommendations are being reevaluated. There's nothing set in stone. The only thing that exists today is the adopted community plan with the adopted community plan land use and circulation network. We are proposing to evaluate what is the appropriate land use and mobility network in light of the community's concerns and desires for the area, as well as the planned transit network that is coming in through that process. So we don't have any preconceived notions. We have data from the existing study that we can use, and then from there we'll generate feedback and input in helping to generate these alternatives.
I guess, Billy.
Yeah, I want to point out, you know, the way this whole thing started was a real disaster. You know, in the Marine Corps we have a name for that. The best way to say it is a cluster flow.
One of the things I was wondering is when this started out, there were a number of large properties were sold, and I think with the reason why is with the idea that they would be able to go over height. Now you're saying you're going to hold the limit to 30 feet in the Claremont community, and I want to know if you've notified those people who have just bought these properties that you're going to hold them to 30 feet, because we have the big shopping center down below at the bottom of Claremont Drive. I believe that's Bayview Plaza, whatever the name is, I'm not sure. And also Claremont Village, the shopping center up by Keels. Now that property owner thinks that he could go up to like 60 feet also, because properties down below are going to go up to 60 feet. So he's trying to ride on the back of that also. His presentation, I think, was like 54 feet or something like that.
Hey, Billy, you're at 1 minute, so you asked the question.
My
Let's wrap it
question
up in
is,
the next
have you
10.
notified these new property owners that you're going to hold them to 60 feet and not let them go?
30.
Excuse me. To 30 feet.
See what happens when you talk too long, Billy? Sit down. That's the answer.
Staff understood the person's intentions to say 30 feet, not 60. So the answer is the Claremont Village Shopping Center, there was one project in which I provided staff comments. The proposal did not go over 30 feet, if I recall correctly. We just identified that there's the height limit overlay zone and that there's no change to that. So, and the proposed marina study does not include the Claremont Village Shopping Center. That's not part of the separate, regardless of what happens. And then as it relates to the Bayview Plaza site, there's been no notification of property owners as to what the existing height limit is, other than just providing them with the study information for individuals who have requested information. So in the sense of whenever we're contacted about that site from any number of individuals, whether it's prospective developers, property owners, residents, we point them to the study's executive summary page, in which we maintain that the staff is going to maintain the Claremont height limit overlay zone. No information has been provided otherwise.
Where is the Bayview Plaza?
It's at the intersection of Marina Boulevard and Claremont Drive.
So exactly the box used to be?
Yes.
How big are they going to make it?
There's no development proposal.